With the internet becoming more and more popular, an abundance of creepy and startling information breaches the web. Many of these things we're about to list might gross you out. If you prefer to remain blissfully numb to some unimaginable situations, go ahead and don't Google it. From videos on the web that were demonetized to some things that might cause the apocalypse, here are 15 things you really shouldn't Google, Part 2.
Hey guys, this is your host, American Eye. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy that video.
But first, before we get into it, we'd like to give a quick thanks to our subscribers for leaving us some great comments. Let us know in the comments section if you didn't take our advice and search this stuff anyways. Number 15. The Web Ouija. This totally spooky website that you probably shouldn't Google is one of the only working digital Ouija boards out there. And if you do Google it, maybe the spirits will follow you. Try asking it important questions and see what letters the board lands on. When I experimented with it, I noticed this particular spirit preferred to answer yes or no questions. It was made by the Ouija board experts at the Ouija Museum of Talking Boards. Hopefully you can handle the answers to the questions you ask. Oh yeah, and hopefully you won't be completely cursed after Googling this. Number 14. Zombie Passion. Maybe this site isn't too weird if you're a fan of zombies, but maybe it's a tad bit creepy. If you're looking to hook up with some local zombies in your neighborhood, be sure to check out this website. It claims to be a 100% free zombie dating website and social networking site. It actually allows you to meet with other possible preppers, but also people who are rather convinced that they are indeed a zombie. If you don't want to find your zombie soulmate, probably best not to Google this one. Number 13. Baloo. Let's take a quick look at the Filipino delicacy known as balut. At first glance, you might not notice anything about the egg until you open it up. Inside, you'll find a surprise, or a duck embryo, which is then eaten. This is considered to be an aphrodisiac and is a high source of protein. The taste of it apparently isn't too bad. Depending on how it was developed, you might have to deal with beaks and bones, and you could be slightly traumatized. And you really don't want to Google their eating contest either. Number 12. Trypophobia. Sometimes you might not even know you have a certain phobia until you finally are exposed to it by Googling it. Trypophobia is a common fear that affects many people's lives. People with this phobia often feel discomfort and anxiety around images like these. It's actually a proposed phobia of irregular patterns or clusters of small holes or bumps. This is a newly proposed phobia that was theorized in 2005, and there hasn't been a ton of research on it. Thousands of people on the internet claim to have this intense phobia, and who knows if you might be one of them. Many people are willing to dismiss trypophobia as just another made-up phobia that doesn't really have any place in modern-day psychological studies. Number 11. McDonald's Urban Legends. These legends are known for being some of the creepiest and some of the grossest, and they date back to the 1970s. Some rumors claim that they actually left earthworms in their french fries. That wouldn't be the end for sure. Some also believe that cow eyeballs were left in the meat, which was technically considered to still be 100% beef. This proved to be false because cow eyeballs are commonly used in medical practices and can actually fetch a higher price than meat. Much of it has been done to harm their reputation and have been proven to be hoaxes. Others have claimed to see Ronald move while sitting next to him on the bench. Storylines have gone drastically wild, claiming that McDonald's have actually created super cows at a laboratory in Brazil. Just best to not believe everything you Google here. The Suriname toad birth. If you can make it through the birth of multiple Suriname toads, you certainly don't have a weak stomach. Found deep within the swamps of the Amazon and French Guinea is a trypophobe's worst nightmare. It's certainly enough to scare anyone though who doesn't have it. This is what's known as a common Suriname toad, and little tiny baby toads literally pop out of the mother's back from little holes. The mother releases 3 to 10 eggs, which are actually embedded into her skin. As the eggs continue to grow, the little babies spring forward, coming out in a very peculiar fashion. This is the stuff nightmares are made from, and you might have already started gagging at this point. Number 9. Albino black magic. You probably wouldn't normally Google this type of thing, but just in case you do, we're here to warn you. You wouldn't typically expect to see an albino person conducting in black magic, but if you decide to Google this, you might find some shocking information. This takes place in Eastern Africa in countries such as Tanzania, and being born as an albino is possibly one of the worst curses anyone could possibly have here. Many young albino kids from this region are targeted and used in black magic rituals. Some miners in the region believe that potions with crushed bones of albinos will bring them good luck and wealth. to learn what a crazy effect just the color of their skin has on these people. Number 8. Slovenian Roulette. There's French roulette and American roulette, but you really don't want to Google Slovenian roulette. This is also kind of like Russian roulette, but at the same time, a little bit more provocative, we should say. It's unclear whether or not this was just a bizarre urban legend or a real occurrence happening in Europe. Let's just say one person at this party might be toxic. Escort girls across Eastern Europe and in Barcelona, Spain, have been making shocking revelations that would make you assume this actually happens. Some call it Slovenian roulette, where even the rich and famous are participating in it. It apparently gives them a kind of thrill that nothing else can fulfill. Don't get lured into this thrill though, because it could turn out to be deadly. Number 7. Cropsey. An insane asylum in Staten Island, New York was extremely overcrowded with people who had severe mental disorders. Anyone in New York at that time with a mental or physical mutation were locked up here. When a surprise documentary was displayed on national television, many people were appalled by the conditions. Atrocities occurred that you don't want to know about, which caused the facility to close its doors. Many say that once this happened, children in Staten Island were mysteriously kidnapped by an insane man named Cropsey who once lived here. Cropsey allegedly had a hook for an arm and then would take children back to the abandoned Willowbrook. This mysterious man, allegedly with a hook for an arm, would then take children back to the mental asylum. Rumors of ghosts or boogeymen are still reported at this location. Number 6. Things Facebook knows about you. It might take some time to realize that Facebook might have seen you naked at some point in time. It's okay, you'll just have to get over it. There is a ton of private info that the tech company has wanted to provide to advertisers, and you may not be comfortable with that. Facebook has even been making predictions on whether or not you're single, how long your relationship will last, and also other crazy stuff. They might even know more about your girlfriend than you do. Number 5. Eel Girl. We're not really sure why you would consider Googling Eel Girl in the first place, but if you thought you should, you're wrong. First of all, Eel Girl is a short sci-fi film which depicts some relations with an eel-human hybrid and a scientist. We'll leave it at that, but it's quite freaky and you might have nightmares. Other search results of Eel Girl might bring you to some crazy Japanese fetish sites, which involves eels going to places where the sun don't shine. Other reaction videos seem to show people watching what's known as eel soup, and it doesn't really seem like they know what's going on. You will probably sleep better at night if you don't watch this video, so it's not worth the Google. Number 4. Ruined Island. You probably shouldn't Google this thing if you want to remain blissfully numb to the truth, but it seems like it's a ticking time bomb in the South Pacific. It's been deemed as uninhabitable for the next 24,000 years. Local inhabitants of the Marshall Islands call it the tomb because it's a concrete lid that covers extremely hazardous materials. The dome itself is a feat of engineering, being 18 inches thick. However, the tomb is not coated on the inside, meaning that it could sink into the earth below. One tsunami could be all it takes to crack it open and pollute the ocean with all kinds of hazardous materials. During the times of nuclear testing on Ruined Island, a huge explosion took place, causing chunks of plutonium to scatter all over the tropical island. The US military was called to clean it up and put this dome over it. Some feel as though it's a ticking time bomb, and it's the reason for many problems for the natives. If you've taken the blue pill, don't look this one up. Number 3. Rocky Mountain Arsenal. In case you thought only places like Chernobyl get contaminated, there are places right here on our own home soil where people are facing the consequences of radiation and some bad decisions. Although the plant shut down in 1993, this hazardous waste storage and disposal plant was kept a secret for a long period of time. Things that were stored here include mustard gas and nerve gas that the US agreed to dispose of. Wildlife suffered in the area, suffering from genetic defects, and rabbits were used to see if any leaks were occurring. The situation was a mess, and there is some pretty creepy vintage footage of this place. Number 2. Logan Paul Aokigahara video. YouTube has already demonetized this video of Logan Paul in the Aokigahara forest, and you probably shouldn't Google it. Located at the base of Fuji Mountain in Japan, many claim that the forest is full of spirits of people who've taken their own lives. They claim to be vengeful spirits who attempt to lure people off track. Some who wander here may never come back. However, if you watch Logan Paul's video, not only will your IQ lower, but you'll understand why the rest of the world hates America. He goes camping there with his friends and publishes a grisly discovery that we won't talk about. Many call for Logan Paul to delete his YouTube account after the upload, so it obviously caused some drama. And number 1. The cursed Japanese Kleenex commercial. The tissue company Kleenex made this commercial in the 1980s. Many people found the music in the background of this ad to be extremely bizarre. Others noticed something much more horrifying. The woman sounded like she was chanting a German curse hymn in addition to the already strange ad. Not long after the making of this, a horrifying curse was put onto all those who had something to do with the production. The child you see here was dressed up like an ogre after suffering from nightmares and became severely ill. His mother went mentally insane and had to be admitted to a mental hospital. The woman in the tissue ad is still doing okay, but is unable to have kids. The man who shot it, we'll just say he went into a sauna and never came out.